Hi guys, I'm sorry that the second part get interrupted because of technical problem. So we are continuing our second part of the unit 1, paper 1, unit 1, lecture number 2nd, and we were discussing the commercial revolution. Here we will continue that it was the Portugal, Spain, they funded the trade routes. They funded the discovery route so that the Orient, the eastern part of the world, can be checked, can be assessed, so that they can sell their surplus product and they can find a source to fulfill the demands of the industries for the raw material. Initially, Italy had control over the trade routes, and all the stuff that reached to European countries became very expensive after the deduction of profit of the Italian merchants. That's why European countries try to find out the sea routes, because land routes were already dominated by the Italians. So a new thing happened was the discovery of the sea routes. That when industrial production take place, fund are always required, and for that funding the traditional sources were not enough, so it leads to the establishment of a new institution which is known as banking. There was growth of companies because they were making huge profit, and as we are well aware about the East India Company, which was supported by the British, and it was given charter to trade in the East. It was given a kind of monopoly. So because banking expansion was taking place, there was discovery of new sea routes, new companies were getting set up, there was a rise of a new class which is known as middle class. This middle class include the merchants, bankers, ship owners and investors. Initially they were only economically powerful, but with the evolution with the time they became very politically powerful till the 19th century, later part of the 19th century. As we know that early Europe was feudal in nature, so the landlord used to hold a social status, political power, but now because the way of living has been changed, industrial production was taking place. As a result, there was strengthening of monarchy and decline of church. Decline of church was because it was now not suitable to the needs of the time. Now it was become obsolete according to the needs of the time. The requirement of the time was a dynamic. The requirement of the time was a new thinking, but the church was still associated with old dogmas, old traditional thinking. Church used to say its people that donate to the church, give donation and you will get heaven. But at the time of capitalism, when the production was taking at a higher place, profit making was a new value. At that time, investing in companies instead of giving donation was preferred. Strengthening of monarchy, because the monarch, the kings were giving charter to the companies that this company will trade and they will get profit. It will lead to the consolidation of the political and economic empire of the country. So the monarchy was getting stronger and stronger, and as a result of all this, what was happening? The European markets were flooded with new commodities. Spices and textile from the east, tobacco from the North America, cocoa, chocolate, quinine from the South America, ivory and all the human slaves from Africa. So you know, the different dynamic changes were happening in Europe at that time. It was commercial revolution. You know, the aim of the commercial revolution was profiteering, making more and more profit and trying to find out all those ways, all those methods, all those thinking process, all those ideas which lead to the more profit making. And in the search of all these new ideas, new institutes start getting developed like banking, the setting up of companies, the new sea routes, okay, declining of the church authority, and all these things were taking place. And driving force was making a profit. Now the scientific revolution. Europe produced a scientific revolution in the Renaissance period. The impact of the scientific revolution was not just in changing the material life, the ideas, the nature of society was also getting changed. When scientific revolution was taking, then it had a bearing on the nature of the society. As a result of scientific revolution, new machines start getting developed, and because of this machine it was possible to set up a factory and work under one roof. Because of the development of such big machines, labor start moving from the rural areas, rural setting to the urban areas. Urbanization start getting developed. And when urbanization happened, the nuclear family get a rise. So you know, people's ideas were also changing. The thinking about the things were changing. Science does not develop independent of society. The development of science is a response to the human needs. For example, now there is a coronavirus everywhere, and we are trying to find out a vaccine. Why? Because it is the demand of the time, demand of the society. It is a necessity to cure the disease. So it is not something different from the science. Science and society go side by side. As your society, so will be your science. Apart from influencing the physical and material life of society, science is intimately connected with the ideas. The general intellectual atmosphere existing in society influences the development of science. Obviously, the general context which is present in the society, it will have the same result. For example, in a patriarchal society like India, women are not supposed to work. They are not encouraged by the family members. And because they are not encouraged, no such ideas are developing. The women entrepreneurs are not coming as strongly as they are coming in the European society. The emergence of sociology in Europe was a great deal to the ideas and discovery contributed to the science. And in a similar way, this science was reflected in the ideas of people. They thinking about the things happening around them, and it has also a toll on the society, led to the emergence of the sociology. Because what is sociology? Scientific study of society, scientific study of the social institutions, the groups, the values they have, the thinking process, the mindset, the action that they are taking, finding a reason for all those things is sociology in itself. You know, in science there is a method, experimental method. We do experiment. We develop theory. We try to test that theory. If the results are good, they are satisfying, then we will accept that theory only. Science in the medieval period. You know that in the medieval period there was a feudal system. Church was the epicenter. Learning was mainly religious in nature. There were dogmas, religious beliefs were very rigid. New ideas couldn't flower in that environment. And the scientific development which was taking place in the medieval period, it was only limited to the improvement and technique of production. In the medieval period, scientific development also taking place, but that scientific development was limited to one area only. That was that how can you increase the production. that development of science initially doesn't get affected the thinking process of a human being, that how he can think in a new way, how he can alone take decision, how he can listen himself, herself, that what he she want to do, which career he or she want to choose. So that new thinking was not taking place initially. Initially, these scientific the new things were taking place only to a limited scope, to a limited space. Then there was a Renaissance period, and it was a game changer altogether. It saw the beginning of scientific revolution, and the science has a tool with itself, like description and criticism. When a theory is proposed in the field of science, then a scientist will try to describe its cause, its effect, why it is taking place, what are the reason behind it, and then some people will criticize it. Then the scientist will try to develop his theory more and more to reach a higher level of accuracy. So the no scope of the criticism is left. Similar thinking hit the brain, hit the mind of people, the sociologists. They also try to find out the reason that why this particular society is so prosperous, why so the females are so developed, societies are so developed, females are taking part actively in the economic activities. So they also try to develop a theory. For example, the Durkheim studied the suicide. When we say that a particular person committed suicide, for example in Kota every year lots of students committed suicide, so it's not they are committing suicide because of their personal reason. If we do a scientific study, we will find out a pattern that the students are pressurized, they get they value, they judge their value by their marks. The system is so pressurized that they forget the intrinsic value of life, that life has an intrinsic value. No, they judge themselves. And this pattern is the reason behind their suicide. So it is a scientific study. It is not because of their personal reason. And the development of science in that way hit the mind of the sociologist, hit their thinking, and they also started thinking in a similar way. Let's develop a theory, let's try to find out reason, let's find observations, and then we will try to find out the reason behind the social setup, behind the mindset of people, why the Catholic prospers as the Protestant. So this was the result of scientific development. And in this phase of Renaissance, the art, literature, science developed. And the major break which happened during the Renaissance period was the theory proposed by the Nicholas Copernicus. Earlier, it was used to think that it is the entire universe which is revolving around the earth in the epicenter. But the Nicholas gave a different theory. He did his scientific study. He finds through his observation that no, it is not the universe, it is not the sun, it is the earth which is revolving around the sun. And it was a major breakthrough, because the sun is revolving around the earth. This particular theory was given by the church, and it was considered sacrosanct, it was considered sacred, there was no questioning. But when the Copernicus proved it by his theory, by his statistics, that no, earth is revolving, then people start thinking that no, it is not sacrosanct, it is not sacred, that whatever church has said is true. No, the things said by the church can be wrong. They start a questioning. And now this Renaissance, this science led to the development of new attitude. It brought a new method of experiment, doing experiment, find out the reason, and suggest the alternatives. If old ideas are not working, try to find out the new ideas which are suitable to the needs of the people. In these alternative ideas, proved and repeatedly verified, then it will be get accepted. Scientific method just came to be regarded as the most accurate. It means that if you want to develop a theory, not only theory, if you try to find out reason, logic, driving force behind something, then do the experiment, do observation, find out the numbers, and then prove your theory to the accuracy. For example, when the scientific development was taking place, the development also happened in the field of medical. The dissection of human being help the people to understand that how the human body work. It was find out that human body is interrelated. It is interconnected. And this human body is a system in itself. Similarly, the society is a system. Religion, economics, family, individual, thinking, all its are different part, and it work when all they are interconnected. The Charles Darwin gave his theory, The Origin of Species, and he find out a theory of human evolution, that human have been evolved from the ape-like species, ape-like creature. And he also given his theory, the survival test, that the human beings or whether animal, they try to fight for the limited resources, and whoever is more capable will go through it, will find it. Then it was also breaking from the past. Earlier it was used to think that it is the God who made the human beings. But through his theory, through his observation, we find out that no, we have been evolved from time to time. Earlier we were like ape, and now we are human being with more cerebral capabilities, with more thinking power. And it was believed, yes, it was applied to the social world also. Evolutionary thinker like Herbert Spencer, that not just the organism but societies also evolve and develop from lower to a higher stage. We can also witness this evolutionary thinking in our society also, that earlier Indian society was much traditional, but now the changes are taking place. It is evolving like a human being have been evolved from an ape to a human being. Society also developed. Earlier the Indian society was characterized by much more traditionality, patriarchy, but now the changes are taking place. We are evolving toward an egalitarian society. We are trying to evolve towards a society which is more safer for females. We are trying to. Government is making policies. We are absorbing the Western ideas that if we give equal opportunity to the females, then our society will be capable to tap the infinite energy, infinite potential of all those human beings who are not now contributing, who are not able to contribute because of the present system. So this is an evolutionary approach, and this lead to the development of sociology. Yet we have discussed only the events which took place in the society of Europe. In our next lecture, we will try to find out that how these events itself lead to the emergence of sociology. Why the need was felt that we need to study society as a distinct discipline. A discipline which have its own theory, its own data, its own method. In our next lecture, we answer this particular question. Till then, have a nice time, guys.